So let's say you decide to do 100 squats every single day. What happens to your body? Some pretty cool stuff.
Ooh,
Let's talk about this.
You get stronger.
If somebody, thanks, you give away the first one for sure. Damn. Actually, a lot of people, it sounds obvious, but then you have a lot of people like, well, you can't do that every day type of deal. You have to do them the right way, right? I think 100 squats all at once is probably not a good idea, but spread out throughout the entire day, you for sure will get stronger.
Well, you can easily overtrain if you mishandle the intensity. And
that's
volume.
right.
Yeah. That's the key. I think you could even do, because that's 10 sets of 10.
That's it.
Right? So 10 sets of 10.
That would be the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Very, very doable in a workout. So this is actually how I used to, which was a mistake, by the way. Just want to put that out there first.
Yeah.
How I would come back to the gym. Like if I had fallen off for a month or two and I was getting back, I used to, that first workout was 10 sets of 10, but it was like with like 135.
No, that's too much.
Just blast me. That was back in the days when we, measured our workout efficiency by how sore you got, which was a terrible measure. But I absolutely think that strategy would have been smart, but I probably could have done body weight. Could have done body weight for probably the first week, and then the bar, and then 10 pounds, and that would be the key, is to actually stair step it very slowly, and then I think it would be unbelievable.
So there's two kinds of people that hear this right now. One would be the beginner, and the other would be the person who's already fit and already exercised. Let's address the person who already works out, right? So somebody who hears this is like, okay, 10 sets of 10 body weight squats. What's that going to do for me? I already work out really hard. Well, it's not intense at all. It's actually a low intensity type movement for you. But you can add it to your current routine. It's not going to cause more damage. It won't hamper your recovery. If anything, it's going to facilitate recovery, and it should improve your strength in your traditional leg workouts. So if you're already fit and you did, let's say, 10 squats 10 times a day for 100 days in a row, or 30 days in a row, or whatever, you would notice benefits. You would notice strength gains. Now, to the beginner who's not working out, this is actually a little bit of a workout. Now, it's not hard, again, for the average person, 10 squats 10 times a day, not that hard, a little higher intensity for someone who doesn't work out, but you will notice this wonderful progression in strength. Now, the key isn't to do more squats. Like to say, okay, I did 100 today, tomorrow I'm doing 200. Don't progressively overload this. Just be consistent, practice them on a daily basis, and the first thing you'll notice is the squats initially will feel harder, but after day 5, 7 or so, you'll start to feel easier as your strength starts to improve.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing, now this is where the real benefit happens, is you'll improve insulin sensitivity. This essentially means you're going to make your hormones, or one of your hormones in particular, and I say hormones because insulin actually has an effect on all the other hormones. As you become more sensitive to insulin, your growth hormone levels tend to become more effective. It's great for fat burning. Estrogen or progesterone tend to get balanced out in women because there's a very strong connection between insulin insensitivity and things like estrogen dominance, which some women suffer from. As you do these squats all day long, you are literally sucking sugar out of your bloodstream and pumping it into your muscles, and muscles are very insulin sensitive. So you do this throughout the day, especially post-meal or post-prandial, you'll have an improvement in insulin sensitivity, which means your body's gonna be primed to burn body fat, primed to build muscle, and just from a health perspective, you're just going to be a lot healthier and feel a lot better.
Yeah, and not just from the movement too. It's just, this was like an old bodybuilder thing. So you would eat, and then you would instantly do what you call trigger sessions right afterwards.
Yes,
and that's how they get ready before they get ready to get on stage, right? Right before you get on stage, you eat something like high glycemic, right? And within 30 minutes, you're doing arm pumps and push-ups and bodyweight squats and just shuttling all that glycogen.
It's funny how that like bodybuilder and bro science stuff like comes back, and you're like, oh wow, there's some value there.
There's it's what it was, and why it gets a bad rap is the way it was communicated.
They didn't explain it right
because
they didn't know why it worked.
It's actually really unfortunate, and I know we've talked a little bit about this on the show before. About I think we didn't we do an episode on bro science that works or something like that? That was a good episode.
Valuable
right?
bro science,
because a lot of it is true. The way it was communicated was incorrect, but the problem with that is everybody threw it out. Or yes, that's stupid. Oh, that's bro science. It's like, well, wait a second. They didn't communicate the science part of it, but there's a lot of value in some of these things. And the reason why, there's a reason why it's been done in the bodybuilding world for decades, because it's been proven to work.
Right.
But what
they
they
just didn't know how it worked.
Exactly. They didn't know how to communicate it really well. And so then you have the science geeks that want to shit all over it just to feel like they're smarter and better.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like, well, there's like a lot of truth to what they're doing. It's just explained.
Look, not to get too far into that that particular topic, but when you have one anecdote, I don't think you should place much value on that. When you have thousands and thousands and thousands of anecdotes over decades, sometimes hundreds of years, by the way, you look at ancient forms of medicine like Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, you know, a lot of this is hundreds of years. Some of it you could go back as far as 1,000 or longer years. And there might not be any double-blind placebo-controlled studies yet to support what they found. But when you have that many anecdotes over that many years, it's pretty trustworthy that the effect that they say is going to happen is probably going to happen. So with bodybuilders, you had at least decades of experience doing certain things and saying, hey, this makes me leaner. This helps me build more muscle. They just didn't know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's funny. It kind of reminds me of like our culture now. It like relies so much on reviews and relies so much on your peers and people that you know, like to be able to validate it for you. And it's like, why should it be that much different? I mean, obviously, you know, the science is kind of leads and directs you there in that direction, but or can explain the physiology or whatever. But at least having people that have gone through the experience of it, like that plays some value.
Especially when there's a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And again, now doing 10 sets of 10 squats a day, body weight squats, if you looked at the calorie burn, it's not a lot of calories, especially if you consider how the body adapts to calorie burn. Lots of studies show this. The body's very good at learning how to burn less calories when you start to burn more calories, except through maybe the metabolism boosting effect of muscle building. And yet doing this will get people leaner. That's the third point. You'll get leaner. What is going on? Is it the excess calorie burn? That's part of it. But the other part of it, which is big, is the hormone optimization effects, the insulin sensitizing effects. And what it does is it changes how your body uses calories. So when your body becomes more insulin sensitive, when you're sending a signal to your body to say get stronger and build muscle, your body takes those calories, instead of storing, it tends to go to building. And so you start to get leaner as a result. This is a very effective way to get leaner, is to simply add a little bit of low intensity strength training throughout the day. This is actually, I called this trigger sessions in the first MAPS program. It was something similar. It was like 3 times a day you would do these band workouts. And the way people messed them up is they did them too intensely. That's how you'll mess this up, right? If you do this and you're trying to make it into a workout where you're sweating and you know working real hard every day, it's not going to work very well. But if you just throw it into your daily routine to where you're through the end of the day adding up to 100 squats a day, and it feels somewhat easy, you're doing something, but somewhat easy, you'll notice all these effects of building muscle, getting stronger, burning body fat, improving insulin sensitivity, which, by the way, you could measure with a CGM. So if anybody has a CGM, test this out. Watch what happens to your blood sugar levels just by doing this. By the way, this will do more for that than taking all that cumulative work and putting it in one workout, because it's spread out throughout the entire day. You tend to get a better effect. So I love tips like this.
I would add,
for these reasons.
I would add one. And I think we've talked about this many times on the podcast, and that is the value of just practicing the technique of a movement.
Of course.
And since the squat is the king of all movements,
especially a fundamental movement.
That's right. And you get so much bang for your buck. It's one of the most technical movements. Just the repetition of doing it every single day like that, I mean, you're really greasing the groove. And so when you do start to load the days that you do load, man, you're just going to be that much better and more capable. And there's so much value you just get from that.
Translates to everything.
Right.
I mean, we stand up right, you know, and that whole base of support is, you know, it's all based upon how much strength you have with your lower body. And this is the way to address it.
I never did this like for a client, but I used to do things like this where I used to have them, they'd have like this booklet of stickers. And I'd have them put the stickers throughout the house, and there'd be like one on the refrigerator, one on their bathroom mirror. And when they would see it, I'd say, you every time you see that sticker, you have to do 10 squats.
Yeah.
And so that was just like a thing that we would do.
That's
so
great.
I'm sure it ended up being something like that. You know, they probably after the entire day saw that, you know, somewhere between 5 to 10 times. So they're getting 50 to 100 squats every day. and just I saw tremendous value in it.
And
of
that
course,
daily practice.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. This reminds me of a story. When I went to visit my father's family in Sicily, I went when I was a real young kid, but the first time I really remember, I was 12. And I remember visiting them, and we went to visit an aunt of mine that lived in this like small town next to the town that my dad's from. So my dad's from a town called Bagheria, which is a larger city, but there was a smaller town. And in this smaller town, a lot of the houses, first of all, some of the roads are so narrow that if you drive your car through, people would sit outside their house. They'd have to stand up against the wall to let the car through. So these are old towns, right? And some of these houses are old and they're up on these hills, and you live on a particular floor and you got to go up all these flights of stairs. Well, anyway, my aunt was old. She was, at the time, she had to have been in her 70s. And I remember walking with her to the town square to get groceries, but we had to walk downhill to get to this place and then walk back uphill. And I'm a 12-year-old boy. I remember walking out, following her, and she's just trucking up this hill. I don't remember how far it was, but it was enough for me as a 12-year-old boy to be like getting tired. And then we'd have to go up 2 or 3 flights of stairs. And I remember my dad looking at me and kind of laughing, and he goes, she does this every day. Every single day she does this. And it just maintained her strength and her fitness because it was a daily practice. And it wasn't hard work for her at this point. She's been doing it for
isn't that
forever.
Isn't that one of the most common things in the blue zones? Is just
daily movement.
The way that like the cities and the community is structured is there's a lot of like just actual activity movement, not necessarily organized exercise, but just like
it's in your life.
Yeah.
It's in your daily life. And that's what we're trying to do with something like this. By the way, we have a guide that teaches you how to squat like a pro for anybody who's interested.
It's free.
It's free. It's a free guide. We created it because so many people have questions around squatting like a pro, or how to squat effectively. So we have that up. And speaking of workouts, we had I don't know what year it is. I want to say maybe 15 year. Now we've done this, the post-Thanksgiving workout.
Wow, that many times, huh?
I think it might be 15 years. The earliest photo I could find was from 12 years ago, but I think I did it like 2 or 3 years before that.
Oh, wow.
Where we just didn't take a picture. But yeah, so it was my cousins and I, we do this every year after Thanksgiving. It turned into this like tradition where we have Thanksgiving and
Who
then
can lift what?
my cousins, my brother, and myself get together and we do a workout, and then we typically would grab food afterwards. So today was or this was I think the 15th one. It was a lot of fun. But it's funny how the workouts have progressed throughout the years. Like it was very competitive early days.
when you were younger.
Yeah, we're like, now the workouts are.
Now it's like mobility.
Bro,
Mobility for the first half hour.
What does it look like?
It opens with excuses. So it's like,
set the table. Oh, man, I pulled my back last week.
People are showing up already. Oh,
my neck's got a kink.
Yeah, my back and my shoulder. I can't really do this exercise or that exercise. And then one of my cousins over there doing like 30 minutes of shoulder rehab stuff because he can't do the stuff that we're doing. And then it's the same shit talk, right? It's the same like you're fat, you're old, you can't do this. Like we just make fun of each other, and it's a good time. But it's fun, man. It's
now. How many of the years because you've been coming here now? Because it used to be at your own gym.
I started in my personal training studio.
Since we've had this place, have you come every year?
Every year. Oh no, 1 year I did it in my garage. 1 year I did it in my garage.
When there was a year you didn't do it here.
Yeah, but we did this one. But it's funny, I pulled up, the oldest picture I have, I think it's 12 years old maybe. And I looked at that picture versus this one, and I sent it to, because we're on a group thread.
Yeah.
And I sent it, and of course the shit talking, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you had so much more hair, and you look like you ate old you, and this and that. It's like, it's so bad. But it's so fun. It's such a great, I think traditions are so important because they get you to do things you might not normally organize. Like it's not common that all of us get together, just us guys. Like these days, if we get together, it's family, we got our kids. But this is probably the only time of year where it's just us fellas getting together and just, hanging out.
It's so important to have those because everybody, at some point in your life, you and all your friends and your family get really busy. And it's like one thing to have, meet up with a friend or a family member, but to organize 5, 6, 10, 20 people, I mean, it becomes really difficult if you have not established tradition. Like that's something that's so important to me with Max as he grows up. As I didn't have a lot of that. I had a little bit of it, and some of that was with my friends.
With their families?
Their families. And I valued that so much, and so.
What a gift that you've turned that into. That you notice the value in it because of the discrepancy.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than not doing it, type of deal.
Yeah, no. So it's just been something that it's like, okay, this is something that I want to make sure that I do with in fact, speaking of that, that's
Oh, wait, before you go, I got to
ahead.
tell you guys what happened while we were in here. You guys will like this. Well, two things. One, my brother he's such a horse. The guy never works out. He comes in here, throws up 225 on the back. I think he did like 13 times.
wow.
And I'm like, what? Is
Serious?
Yeah, dude, he doesn't even work out, dude.
He just has it on
even
reserve,
work out.
just ready.
He's just a
It's
just
so
a mule.
wild when people
I know
have
people like that too.
He's
yeah.
just a
It's
strong
frustrating.
ass dude who doesn't even work
That's
out.
like that's really strong though. It's like one thing to be kind
Bro,
of
I hit
naturally-
it. I did that. I think I did a rep or two more than he does, and I work out all the time, bro. And he just, he's a moose. But anyway, they come in. They love the studio, by the way. They're talking about how great it looks. And
Oh yeah, it's totally changed since the last time you guys.
kudos
Oh,
to Justin
right.
for just to organize our studio, make it look just so great. But then they walk in that back room over there, where you guys have your driving
Simulator,
your video game,
It's not a video game.
and
Yeah.
of course,
Serious.
Oh, they were
Equipment.
like, "What?"
well,
Oh
your
my
your cousins are all into cars and stuff.
Everybody, they're like you guys, right?
Yeah.
They love cars. So they're like, oh my God, you got one of these. Sal, please come on, show me how to use it, whatever. I'm like, I don't know how to turn it on. What? So I told them the whole story about whatever. I'm like, listen, here's a problem. If I let you guys
I'm
use
not allowed
it,
to use it.
it's like $300 an hour.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Because I
gonna
made
say,
fun of the
we'll
guy
start
so
charging admission here.
Hey, so they were trying to FaceTime Adam. They were going to ask him.
They were.
He didn't answer the phone, though. They were going to FaceTime. But for a good 20 minutes, they were talking crap. You're so stupid. You don't use this. What's wrong with you? You're so cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's a video
Most
game.
people get excited about something like that, Sal.
And they're giving the same points. Bro, people train on these and then they go race real cars. Whatever. Just
Although
go race
you did have an ally the other day when Brett and Shalene came to the studio, and I thought, because I told Katrina, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to tell Brett.
Yeah.
I'm going to show him the podium one because I bet he's not going to want to sit and listen to his wife. He's listened to her interview a million times. He'll want to do that. And I'm like, hey, bro, come just a sec. And he's like, oh, no, I don't do video games.
I know. I was
Sal felt
surprised
so
on that one,
vindicated
too.
for a minute there. You know, he's
Yeah.
like,
Until my family turned on me.
yeah. Then they all flipped on.
Literally, you're so dumb, this whole time. Like, all right,
What are you, 12? Like, what?
I heard every word called, they called me every word you could think of. 'cause I
Oh
didn't
my
wanna do it.
God.
Anyway,
That's
where
so-
you going? You were going to say something.
We're just talking about traditions, and so I just decided that, like, okay, there's this. So Katrina has a lot of these traditions too with her family, and I always have to remind myself. It doesn't matter how many years we're 14 years together now. That when I come into this week, that she once she gets into family mode, and I don't know if you're like this. I don't know if it's more like because the chicks do a lot of the decorating probably in your family. I don't know if you do any of this, but the week of Thanksgiving. Like, I better be prepared for my wife being busy and not her normal self of like taking care of me and everything like that she normally does. So, because it becomes about, I mean, I'm not kidding. It's like there's several days dedicated to the decor that goes on the table.
Wow.
Because she goes and rents it every year. It's a whole different theme.
And the family guy does it together?
All the women get together.
Oh,
All the
wow.
women get together on
that's
the
nice.
night before, and they drink and they I mean, it's an all day kind of a party, straight decor thing. But that's that day alone. She's gone doing that, and then there's days leading up to that of preparing for that and the stress that comes with figuring it out and making sure. Oh yeah, and I still, one, don't come from a lot of tradition. Two, not the big family thing. So it doesn't matter that I'm on.
Are you at home all mad? Just
Yeah, I in the past.
Who's going to rub my back?
You're right. That's just complete transparency. I'm a fucking Grinch, right? And I'm like, and this year I was really motivated to flip that. I'm like, you know what? I don't know why I get like this. I know it's fucking coming every year. Why am I acting surprised?
I so relate to that, dude.
Oh.
So are you like, I'm going to be thankful?
Yeah. So I'm just like, you know what? Like, instead, I'm gonna like. This is going to be a tradition for me and my son.
Wow.
Like, I'm like, you know what? This because she goes and does that, and instead of me making it all about me and being butthurt about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to flip this into like this is going to be our thing. Like him and I are going to be excited. And so,
What'd you guys do?
well, here's what. So, Katrina's rule in the house is that no Christmas before Thanksgiving. Right. So like
no Christmas decorations.
Yeah, no Christmas decorations for Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is still, fall, pumpkins, that theme, so with that. And Max just like, Thanksgiving's boring. Like, can we get to Christmas? Like, so he's always nudging, and I'm like, I'm like, prodding and making it worse. Like, man, I wish there was Christmas stuff right now too. And so he's bugging her, and she's like giving me the dirty look and everything like that. And so the night that she's gonna go, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make this whole day about him and I. And since it's the day before Thanksgiving, right? I tell him, I go over because he's all, where are you going, mommy? Oh, I'm going over to go do Thanksgiving, stuff like that. Well, what am I going to do? And I lean over to him. I said, hey, you and I will do Christmas decorations when mom leaves.
No.
Yeah. And he's just, you see him light up, and I'm looking at him, I'm like this, and he's like, okay, and then he's like shooing her out the door the rest of the night. He's like, bye, mom. Bye, mom. She's looking at him all weird.
Did he
like,
actually keep it a secret?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Wow.
He kept it under wraps, right? So he gets her out. He gets her out the door, and man, he was just so excited, and he's like, just blah 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 blah, talking like crazy. Daddy will do this, and Daddy will do that, and Daddy will do this. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. So we made the whole night about, and I mean, he got popcorn and ice cream, and we watched.
Bro, that's so great.
Watched Christmas movies, and we put up all the blow ups, and so. But I'm pulling it up, and boy, God, I had this moment, dude, where I literally almost like cried because he was so excited to do all that. It was a moment where I was telling you that I'm just, like I said, I'm flipping the script. I'm not going to be negative or, frustrated about her taking off all day. It's like, this is her tradition. Let her enjoy it. We're going to make our own, trying to be present in the moment. So that, so totally enjoying the moment. And right before Katrina leaves, she sees me grab the box that has this snowman thing in it. And she goes, if you're going to mess with that, be patient. And I'm like, huh? Like I didn't even get what she meant until I opened the box and realized it was her who probably put it away because it's all fucking tangled up in knots and shit like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm putting it together with him, and I'm just like, oh my God. Inside I'm frustrated, but he's so excited and happy. I'm not letting him see it or anything like that. And I'm sitting there tinkering with it, and he's talking to that, and then he stops for a second, and I'm still listening, and he looks at me and he walks over to me and he just gives me this big hug and just holds me.
Oh.
Doesn't say a word, anything like that, just big old hug, held me, and I went, "Oh my God, bro!"
Do you think he could tell that you were?
I
frustrated?
100%, dude. He's
He's such a sensitive kid. That's so great.
He's so in tune like that. It trips me out. Like I swear to God, I didn't have a look on my face. Nothing. I was totally like, he's in a good mood.
That's beautiful.
But inside, I'm like, motherfucker. I can't believe she put it away like this. I'm thinking that in my head, but I'm not showing it. I'm doing my thing, and keeping him happy. And he just had this moment where he stops and he walks over, cuts right in front of me in the middle of what I'm doing, just
that's nice,
gives me a big hug, and I'm like, oh my God. Okay, that right there sealed it for me. And I'm like, you know what? And then it was a great night for us. And I go, you know what? Going forward, this is going to be our tradition. We're gonna get our Christmas stuff out earlier than we're supposed to when Mom's gone, doing her Thanksgiving thing, getting ready for that, and that'll be like our day and stuff. So it turned out really cool.
We hosted at our house, which is a big deal because we have a big family, and it's a stressful thing. It's a stressful thing to do, and my wife always comments on the women in my family and how well they. How well they host parties. Like my aunts and my mom, they do such an exceptional job, and so she could get a little stressed out over kind of trying to meet that standard. And she crushed it, man. We had and then she gave the prayer before we ate, and it's the first holiday that we've had since my grandmother passed away. And so we did the prayer. She mentioned that, and my aunts and my mom were just crying, and it was just this wonderful. And she just really felt in the spirit. She's invited all these people over that aren't even part of the family. We had our friend Dennis come over.
Nice.
He's like, he's like a father, he has no family here, so he came over and
great dude.
Yeah.
How many people did you guys have this year?
30, something like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because we have a bunch of family up in Sacramento that didn't come down, so it was a smaller, party. But it was a great time. It's so good to invite people over too that aren't people that would normally come. So reaching out to friends that. Don't have anywhere to go type of deal.
That's like the best, holiday for
we brought Danny and Cole.
I know. I saw you do that.
Yeah. So
how'd they like it?
That was Katrina, actually. Katrina, of course, right? So she was in tune, knowing that they didn't have family or anybody there, and so she called them, and I heard her on the phone. Oh, I didn't know you were gonna invite them. She goes, yeah, they're not here with family. I just wanted to put it out there, and they showed up, and you could talk to them, ask them what their experience, but it sounded like they had a really, really good time.
Sweet. It's so great to see all the kids connecting. We had our niece and nephew over from Vegas visiting. I had my cousin sleep over with his little girls, and it was just a full house for like a week. And everybody was the kids loved it. We were all having a great time. It was
Your house was like full for like a week?
Yeah, because I had my cousin and his wife and their two girls, plus our niece and nephew were there.
Now that's a lot. How was Jessica for the whole week like that?
I mean, godly. That's the best thing I could. That's the best description I can use. Is she just
because I know she's like me. That's a lot.
Exactly. Exactly. Because it's a lot. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of plus it falls on her mostly because you guys know me. I'm a little scatterbrained or whatever. And but just
now, are you good? This is something that Katrina's really good about, and it helps me in these moments. Is like recognizing her in those moments, like right, like like Katrina will come over to me, and she knows like all my, like for example, when well, a huge pet peeve of mine is when I'm prepping meat, and I'm relying on the other family members to show up on time and present their potatoes and shit like that. And I've got like the main thing that everybody's gonna like judge by the meal. Like, is this tri-tip good or not? And it's like, that's a huge pet peeve of mine. And of course, I don't think anyone's ever been on time in her family. I don't think we've ever had the meal at the right time, and they're always behind. And so Katrina will see that and know that's something, and then she'll walk over to me and like, hey, you've been such a great sport. I know how much it drives you crazy when people aren't. And so just her recognizing that always calms me, brings me down another level. Are you good about doing that?
I am. But she was so just at peace and so just open hearted. I think it was the right thing. Because when you have stuff like that, I mean, this is me speaking through logic, right? You have to expect the unexpected, or you have to be okay with just a bunch of chaos. Easier said than done. Yeah. But yeah, it was great. It was one of the better holidays I think I've experienced. A lot of my family members commented on that as well, over just how warm it was. I mean, people didn't want to go home. They stayed so late. We were playing a game where I think it was Deloney's card game. John had that card game where you ask questions to the point where her niece and nephew, they're both, teenage kids, shy. They don't know my family. My family's loud and in your face. At the end of the night, they were playing with us, answering the questions and just having a total blast. And literally nobody wanted to go home. Yeah. They were there till like 11 o'clock.
I think this was one of our best ones too. If I had as far as how everything went too. So interesting.
Yeah, no, it's fun, dude.
Does that mean you blew yours up or what?
Yeah.
Just
cool. Way to go, guys.
We're normally balanced somehow. No, Justin's like, this was the worst.
I know. I was waiting to drop. Yeah. So no, it wasn't negative. It was actually a really good holiday we had in the minimal. Actually, no drama. I'll be honest. I mean, there was just a few little things that we've had some issues like over the years, like trying to figure out like tradition wise, like where we're gonna go with this. And like Courtney and I have kind of assumed kind of the role of like we're gonna get everybody together at our house and be able to host more often. And take some of the responsibility off my parents and all that. And that's really helped. And I think like they kind of showed up and finally have like, I think it's taken a lot of time for like, especially my mom to kind of release that a bit. Hand it over. And so they were really helpful this time and very accommodating. And then my brother was there, with his family. And they also like had his wife's brother was there with us too. And we all got to stay at the Truckee place. And it was great. Cousins got together and all this stuff. We played soccer and basketball and all that. Got a little competitive. And
you got competitive? That's weird.
Just a little bit. Like rolled my ankle a little bit. Got a little crazy with it. But there was this moment though after Thanksgiving where I don't know if I told you guys, but so one of our cats had taken off, and we were like, messaging the whole neighborhood. We were on Nextdoor, we're on Facebook, and we're like trying to like find this cat. And it was the one that it's the killing machine one. I really like this cat. Like he's been very productive. Like I'm not really a cat person per se, but like he won me over because he was just like super chill, cool, like did his thing, but anyways, was gone. And like Courtney was just like beside herself. Yeah, she's super attached to this cat and was like, get up and was like, he's dead. Because we had all these like mountain lions and bobcats. And so she's every day checking her phone on the cameras, and you could see bobcats just like circling our property. You could see like they're still like pretty active. And so we're just like, oh, we all came to this conclusion. We're like, this cat is dead. Like it's done. And she's just like, can't believe nobody's, like on board with me. Cause like we all like still had hope. We're like, I think he's gonna come back. And she's like, no, he's dead. And like Everett starts crying at dinner, and then like immediately when she said that, she gets a text message from one of our neighbors. And it's like, hey, I saw your post on Facebook, and we heard this meowing in a tree. And we're just like, no way. Like, I wonder if it's him. And so took a video of it, and it sounded like him. And we're like, that sounds a lot like him. He was up in a freaking redwood tree, like 40 feet up.
Got stuck?
Stuck.
No way.
all the way up, like way up there.
How do you get him down?
Yeah, how do you get him down? This is where the story happens. So, like, she's frantic. Like, she almost was like, "I'm gonna go drive home." Like, you're gonna drive like 5 hours, the middle of the night to get there for what? Like, nobody can do anything until it's like light out. And two, what are you gonna do? I'm like, so anyway, I had to talk her out of that, and then we made some calls, and I was like, hey, one of my friends is like this volunteer firefighter, and I'm like, maybe he's available or whatever. He's just a really nice guy. Like I coached some of the little league games with him in Everett, and so anyway, we hit him up. We hit up some of our other friends, and they all kind of went to meet up and see if it was the cat. And so they're up there like, oh yeah, I think this is the cat. And then my friend Jesse actually, he said that like no firefighters they don't have like a truck anymore that could reach up that high unless you get one from like Santa Cruz. It's like the huge, 40-foot
For forest fires.
Yeah. And so that's not going to happen. And so I just kind of chalked it off. Well, maybe we could find like a tree climber or something, the next day. We can get like one of those Davy Tree guys to kind of go up there and get him. So unbeknownst to us, like he just decides to go there with this 30-foot ladder, and he goes and he climbs up, I guess, takes some of the cat food that one of our other friends had brought and starts smearing it like up there on top of like some of the branches and stuff. And then, Cola, the cat, starts like kind of climbing down and is interested in it. And so it was really smart. He kind of brought the cat down, but he still was, I don't know, a good 10 feet from reaching the cat. And so he ends up like from 30 feet, starts climbing up and like hugging the tree and like hoists himself up and then gets close to the cat. The cat comes down and sees him, I guess, and then like literally like falls off the tree, and he reaches and grabs it midair, like,
Shut up.
and pulls him in.
And
Yeah,
saved his
saved him, dude. I was just like, what are you, like some freaking hero, like superhero, dude? Anyways, it was crazy story and totally unnecessary. I was like, you really didn't have to do that, dude. Like, like that's crazy. But like, Courtney was like beside herself.
That's
super
so great.
stoked. Yeah, it was great. I want to give him a shout out. It was like totally like a cool thing that happened.
Did you buy him like dinner or something?
Yeah, we're definitely like
That's so
doing
nice,
that.
dude.
Yeah, that is cool.
So it was just great. It was just like we literally went from like he's dead, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden like boom, that whole thing happened.
Oh, that's so great, dude.
So it was cool.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Look, are you struggling to see results with your butt workouts? Are your glutes not responding? We have a secret to a great butt guide. Now, this gives you strategies, exercises, nutrition tips on how you can develop a great backside. You can download it for free right now by clicking on the link below in the description. Yeah, what was a hit? Was the salted caramel Paleo Valley. Have you
guys busted that out for Thanksgiving?
So listen,
It's delicious.
It is good.
it's so good.
It's really good.
So I come home because they send, our sponsors will send us stuff for people that know. They'll send us stuff. Well, obviously we have free stuff all the time from sponsors. And whenever they're coming out with something new, they'll send it to us. Well, they only sent us a few bags. So we all used it up very quickly.
Yeah.
My wife couldn't wait for us to get any more. So I come home, she buys a bunch. I'm like, honey, I get it for free, right? She's like, I wanted it right now. I said, did you use my code at least? No. She didn't even use our code. I'm like, you don't even get credit for it.
Just goes to show you how many people don't do that,
Like, my own wife didn't use the code.
That's funny.
Oh, but yeah, huge hit. So you know what I do with it is I make her coffee with it. So I get coffee. So I'll make like 2 or 3 shots of espresso.
Okay.
You take milk, you warm it up really well.
I can see that being good.
Froth a scoop of the salted caramel in there. Mix it with your coffee. It's a latte, salted caramel flavor, 0 sugar. It's protein.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
protein.
I'll have to try that.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
I've been
That
using
sounds really good.
I just came off of a 2.5-3 week cut, and what I was doing with it was putting it on a huge thing of just ice and almond milk and making it just like an icy, like a salted caramel icy. And so that's how I was drinking it.
Yeah.
It was low calorie, high protein, and I could make it into this big old icy thing that I could sip on it for an hour and a half of getting some high protein, low calorie.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
it was a huge hit.
It tastes so good.
It tastes, because their chocolate, I've talked about it so many times, it's incredible. The salted caramel, it's almost like I don't believe it doesn't have sugar in it
I know.
because it tastes so much like a holiday drink or whatever. But yeah, Anyway,
So
it was
good.
good.
It's a lot better than me putting eggnog and everything right now.
Dude.
Are you eggnog? I had told
I'm a
Katrina not
eggnog
yet.
right
I'm like,
I love eggnog, dude.
because I'm wrapping I'm
it's
wrapping
so
the
good.
YouTube series up right now, and she's at the grocery store, and she's like, "Hey, you want me to grab eggnog?" And no, I said, "You got another week." I said, "What?" I said, "Then I'll go ham on the."
Hey,
on the
I gotta
eggnog."
calm down.
I gotta tell you guys about something that I stumbled into that I think is such a great pick me up for people. You would never guess where you would get this. So social media in general, comments on videos in general, they're typically not places you want to go to feel better about anything.
Yeah.
It's usually just the cesspool of whatever negativity, shit talk. It's just not like, I would never go to a comment section of anything to feel good about life. Okay. Well, I found a place and it's consistent. It is consistent. Like every day will come. If you go on YouTube and you click on any Christian worship music, read the comments, within 10 comments, you'll cry. I promise you.
Yeah.
The comments under worship in people's stories.
Yeah.
People's stories. I had cancer and I survived, or please, help me. I was a drug addict and now I'm clean. Like every comment, I got stuck reading these comments and I started sharing with family members. Like the song's cool. Read the comments.
It's a nice bias, right? Because there's no asshole's going to be listening.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of pricks.
It's a filter.
A lot of Russian bots in
Filter,
there.
like, they're probably not listening to Christian worship music on
No.
YouTube. So you get a
Speaking of which, there seems to be. You guys know I've been talking about how it seems like there's like this revival in people interested. There was a 20+ bump in Bible sales recently, which they haven't seen.
20%. Mm-hmm. That's huge.
Massive, and it's new readers. It's all people who've never owned one before. So just to give you some context,
How do they even track a stat like that?
so sites that sell them, like Amazon or whatever, will track, and it's usually flat or negative in terms of growth. There's usually consistent or negative. 22% jump, like recently.
I mean that fits your what you've been saying for a while, because I go back and forth. Sometimes I feel like you're in your bubble because you're in it so much right now, so you feel it way more than the average person. But then I see other things and I'm like, there does seem to feel like there's this kind of conservative movement that's happening right now. But that confirms it. I mean, that's 20% is a big jump.
Huge.
Interesting.
Yeah, huge. Yeah,
And just like in the last month or so, or is that
I
like
can
the
find
years?
it. I can find the actual stat, but it's very recent.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like just happening like in particular. Like
No.
now.
It's a very recent thing. They just posted it. So the Wall Street Journal. This is happening this year. So literally over through the end of October. So this year up to the end of October. So 22% in 2024.
Wow.
And just like, again, so you guys know, before that, it's like 1% or 0% or negative percent. So this is something that now you're seeing articles are being written about, which is kind of cool.
Big shift happening.
Yeah. Now to YouTube. Here's some negative. We track trends on YouTube because of our business.
Oh yeah, this is crazy.
And there is there's like flat or negative growth in anything that is personal growth or health related.
Growth negative 30-40%.
Which is like what?
Yeah. So it's like
what are we doing?
There's this negative trend, and where all the viewers are going right now is politics.
Yeah.
Politics.
So that made sense.
People want political stuff.
That made sense to me in the last like a month ago, but right now that's kind of weird to me.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I understand that leading up to the election, but like now, why are we still like hung up on it?
Yeah. I would not guess that for sure though. January 1, that'll flip.
I hope so.
Of course. Number one New Year's resolution is always to lose weight.
Yeah.
Always. A year and a year. That and smoking cigarettes, always 1 and 2. So there's no, I mean.
Wait, people smoke more cigarettes January 1st? Oh, quitting.
Quitting.
Yeah.
Quitting,
that sucks.
Quitting smoke. Number one and number two. Number one and number two for New Year's resolution has always been quit smoking and get in shape. It was like 1 and 2.
Is smoking on the downturn still, or is it pretty flat? Do you guys know at all?
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I know
I would assume
vaping for a
it's
second.
I know. Do you include that?
No, I don't. I would look. I bet you can look up stats. Maybe Doug can find stats on cigarettes. On
I don't know, but like it's so abnormal to see. I think that I showed you guys a while back about this like golfing
that
girl.
chick, that hot chick.
Attractive
that's why
girl.
That's why I'm asking this question, because I've seen a couple things now where people are smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, almost
Which
like
you never would
to
do.
be rebellious again. It
think
seems
that-
like to get attention and be like, well, too, I've seen this other guy who's like getting a lot of traction, who's just like talking shit about like all the chemicals people are like alarmed by. And so he starts drinking. He just like, it's not going to affect me, and just starts drinking like all of these like forever chemicals and
To
stuff.
show how
just
not-
to show, yeah.
Smoking
idiot.
rates are still
I know.
going down both in the United States and globally. Smoking rates have been steadily declining in the United States, with the percentage of adults who smoke dropping from 42.6 in 1965 to 11.6 in 2020.
Wow.
The percentage of daily smokers has also declined from 16.9 to 13.7. Cigarette use has decreased significantly among teens with daily cigarette. Now, see, this is what would be interesting to me.
That's where you'll see it.
Is the drop, but then have we seen this huge spike in vaping, and they're not counting those as in the same group? Like, what would be really interesting is, let's say back in 1965, 42%, maybe, let's just say for argument's sake, represents 10 million people, and now it's 11%. So that would be a fourth of that, right?
Right.
So a fourth of that is still.
But would you make up some
But
of the
then
difference?
is 9 million people vaping now.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think so. But I hear what you're
there's a
saying.
lot of people vaping, dude. A lot of people vaping.
There's some nasty effects connected to that as well.
Yeah,
For
totally.
the solvents and the chemicals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow, 40% of Americans used to smoke. You know, there's countries where that's still
everywhere, man.
way higher. There's I think some of the highest smoking places in the world. I believe Russia, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the highest percentage of people that smoke
I can
cigarettes.
see that.
I know China is really high. Maybe Doug, look that up. What's the highest? What countries smoke?
I think it's China. I think we've seen this. We've looked at this before.
We did,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think it's China.
Yeah, just by the way, on the e-cigarettes or vaping is 6% currently.
6% of people do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that much. That's not that much at all.
Yeah, not if we went
You know
from
what's
40
going
to
up
11.
are nicotine lozenges.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing a lot of.
Well, yeah, you've seen
that's way
people
better than
using
that.
that for energy and for like nootropic reasons.
You know, it's interesting. Somebody asked me this question on a podcast. I was interviewed, and somebody asked me what I thought about nicotine. And I mean, just straight up, it does have some nootropic benefits. It is an interesting stimulant / calming agent. It's one of the very few things that actually seems to do both. But it's addictive.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the other thing you got to relate.
For
So
sure it's addictive. It's been
do
proven.
you want another addictive thing in your life? We have enough of those already. So think
yeah,
of
I'm
something
already
that you
struggling
already.
with caffeine. It's like, I don't need that.
That's right.
Those are really what are those pouches that all the kids use? It's like super popular.
Zins?
Zins.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what they're called? Zins, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
They make me nauseous as
That
hell.
way strong, dude.
So strong.
I took one of my buddy had one the other day. I was, let me have one of those.
Oh.
Guess I wasn't ready for that.
They're pretty powerful. Yeah.
They
I've tried
are way
that
more
before.
powerful.
It's terrible.
I like the little. We used to have like the 1 milligram gummy.
Half a milligram.
Is it half a milligram? Yeah, those were more. Those were better. I could handle that.
But again, like, do you want to introduce something in your life that's another thing that you're going to have a
Addicted
tough
to.
time, getting rid of? Like you said, you brought up caffeine, Justin.
Yeah.
And, you know, caffeine, if you use it properly, it's not bad for you. But I know how hard it is for me to not have
Oh,
caffeine
it can go
in a
in
day.
excess real fast.
Yeah, and I also know how hard it would be for me to have it in a day. Like, if I was somewhere and I didn't have caffeine, I'd be upset.
Yeah. It'd
Yeah,
be
I don't want to throw one more thing at
a
myself.
bear to everybody.
You know, like that?
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Doug, did you go to Seattle?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
How big or small was your Thanksgiving?
I'd say there are about 20, 25 people.
Oh, you had a big one too. Then.
So we had it at my sister's house. They're actually going to be selling their house, so it'll be the last year there.
Oh,
Yeah. Really nice, though.
yeah.
Had some, nephews and
Was it mostly family, all 25, or did you have friends?
yeah,
too?
pretty much all family.
I was going to ask you, Adam, do you smoke the turkey the first time?
So I didn't at Thanksgiving. So
Thanksgiving, sorry.
I did a pre. So I wanted to try smoking. I've never smoked a turkey.
Right, that's what
So
I
I
was gonna
smoked a
ask you.
turkey the week before to test it out. Bad idea to do that on the same day that I was watching my son by myself.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like I
So
didn't.
you decided not to do it?
Yeah, because I mean, Katrina said it was all. She said it was good, and I was not happy with how it turned out. And so there's like things that I wanted to figure out and tweak. And so before I present it to 30 people, I like opted out. And we were having it at Katrina's mom's house, she has a green egg, which I've never smoked out of a green egg. I know they're amazing, but
What the hell is that?
a green egg?
Yeah,
it's like one of the best smokers you can get.
Yeah, it's a smoker.
I'm assuming it looks like a big.
Looks
green
like
egg.
a big green Weber.
Yeah,
you know,
it looks like a giant green egg. And they're well known for being a really good smoker, but they're different. Mine, I'm used to my Traeger, and it's all digital. It's easy, and so. So to be learning to do it, I don't think I hit it yet. And then on top of that, not having my own equipment, stuff like that, I'm finicky about that stuff like that. I did a tri-tip, and I did a deep fried turkey, and I did the tri-tip for them. And hit that one.
Can you deep fry red meat?
Well, you could deep fry anything.
You could. I don't really
Would it be
know
good?
that it's getting
It wouldn't be good.
I'm not sure.
I'm getting a lot of faces.
I wouldn't
in
think
here
so.
right now.
Might be. Who knows?
I
I
don't
have
think
nice
anything-
crust
I don't
on
think-
it.
Is anything bad deep
I
fried?
know.
No, that's just that's
I've
why I
tried
have
a
this-
lot of things
Yeah.
that fry. I told you guys
Yeah.
I went to that one place in Chicago. They literally deep fry anything.
Although one of the
Butter.
things that's nice about a slow cook on red meat is how it tenderizes it.
Yeah.
So the slow smoke, that's what makes that so good, is that it slowly cooks the meat internally, and so it's really tender.
Yeah.
So if you were to drop it if you fry it, it fries fast. Like a whole turkey cooks in 30 minutes. So you would cook that meat really fast. So I don't
but
know.
then it would be hard.
So yeah, it would probably be chewier. It probably wouldn't be better. You know, I mean, it would have a real crispy outside, which would probably be good. But I would imagine that the meat,
you don't want hard meat, right,
The
Justin?
meat wouldn't be as
depends,
tender
yeah.
as like a slow smoke.
Apparently, some guy burned down a $4 million house frying a turkey this
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year that happens.
Wow.
Every year, that's like the number one. I think, in fact,
By the way, somebody was trying to.
I believe one of the number one fire hazards is deep fried turkeys.
It's gonna be that and fireworks.
There was someone on social media was trying to do this stupid post talking about how dangerous it was to fry, because who was it? RFK was deep frying his turkey in beef tallow,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, this is a fire hazard because the beef," and it's like all oil catches fire.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
yeah.
oil you use, it'll catch fire.
Newsflash.
Beef tallow, like corn oil, don't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all gonna catch.
Yeah.
It's all gonna catch fire. Anyway, did you guys? I got a little like flashback to our days at 24 Hour Fitness. I saw that Organifi is doing a starter kit.
That came from us.
Yeah.
That came from us. So we talked to Drew about,
And I'm sure you got that idea from
yeah. So I mean, I was telling him how we used to, and I think we've brought it up on the show before about what starter kits were, but they were brilliant, and they used to attach them to memberships back in the days. They used to be they were sold as $100 value that they would sell for $50, and they would wrap it into the price of the membership enrollment fee, and in it was basically like a week's supply of all the different supplements that the company sold. And it was just a great way to introduce the new client to all these different supplements that you then would hopefully get them on later on. And so I was telling him that, like, hey, this is a great way, because Organifi has so many products, for you to put a handful of like your best products, or go through and look at what the most popular products that people buy from us for Organifi.
So it's got a week of green juice, a week of red juice, 30 days of their magnesium capsules, and then a shaker bottle.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right?
We did talk about that once. I remember.
Try them
that.
all
did.
out.
I
Yeah.
did. That is really, I like that.
Yeah,
7
yeah.
days is enough. People will know if they like the green juice and the red juice for sure.
And I mean, and again, it gives them an opportunity to try all of it out. And if it's something that, and I think they even called it, I think it's called a starter kit too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exactly what ours was called.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm super interested to hear how it does for them. So I know that I don't know if they are launching just with us, or they're going site wide and telling everybody else, but I know it's definitely something for our audience.
All right, so I want to do a shout out, but for someone I think you would like a lot, Adam.
Me?
Because I tease you. We always used to joke whenever we'd bring up like carbon dating, and you'd be like, "Well, how do you know for real?" Or "How do you know that they're that old?" or whatever.
Nice.
This guy named Dr. Mark Harwood. He's a PhD, and he'll go on podcasts, or he's on YouTube, and he'll talk about how inaccurate carbon dating is, how
So validated.
you
right
know that there's evidence for this great flood, how like all and he talks about, and he disputes and debates
Wow.
scientists on a lot of these different things. So some of his evidence, now you've brought this up before, Justin, where you'll see there'll be like something that we know is a few hundred years old, but encased in rock that the carbon dating shows is millions of years old. And we're like, well, how's that possible? And so people are like, well, maybe it was aliens or some weird shit. And he's like, no, it's because the way that the carbon decays and the way he breaks it down, he's like, it can be terribly inaccurate.
Yeah.
for example, he also talks about how fossils can be created under just extreme pressure.
Extreme duress. It could be like
you could flash make
immediately.
a fossil.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not something that has to happen over thousands of years.
Yeah, so I went down this rabbit hole and watched him.
yes,
Again, Dr. Mark Harwood. And I'm watching it and I'm like, oh no.
I knew eventually I'd get you. I knew eventually you'd come over here. I knew it.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, it is.
It's cool if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to go down some rabbit holes and it's,
How
it's
is he
fascinating.
now? Is this guy older guy been doing this
Older
for?
guy,
I'm wondering.
very intelligent.
I wonder if it's someone who I've heard from a long time ago. Someone had made an impression on me a long time ago that I've always questioned. It's not like I came up with that. I don't know that science, right? Somebody who I like respect, intelligent. I was like, oh wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I went down this rabbit hole. For example, there's this diagram that I brought up that I'll share with you guys, and it talks about like a cell, okay, like a complex cell, right? A complex cell in it has, I mean, you've got microfilaments and microvilles and microtubules, and you've got the mitochondria, et cetera, and you cannot. It says, now the argument is it's not possible for cell to have evolved step by step, because you take one component out and the cell dies. And so the argument is evolution didn't happen in some of these cases where we think, oh, it started from basic organic compounds that became single cell organisms that then turned into complex cells that then turned into complex organisms. It's like, no, there's so many. The conclusion that they make is that the cell is irreducibly complex. And they're saying how a lot of the theory of evolution is a fairy tale. And listen, if you're a science person and you like data and you like logic and you love watching debates, I go down that rabbit hole. That's a lot of fun. Joy Mode has a science-backed formula. It's packed with citrulline, arginine, ginseng, and vitamin C. Now, they all work together naturally to support peak performance. What kind of performance? The kind you want in the bedroom or in the gym. That's right, your two favorite places, the bedroom and the gym. Take Joy Mode 30 minutes to 45 minutes before you want to perform your best. Watch what happens. You and your partner will be very excited. Go check them out. Go to tryjoymode.com/Mind Pump. Use the code Mind Pump. Get 20% off. All right, back to the show.
Our first caller is Devin from Georgia.
What's up, Devin?
Come on, Devin.
How can we help you?
How's it going, fellas? Hey, first off, it is a complete honor to be talking with you. You guys have legitimately changed my life, and because of that, I am in turn changing others' lives. And just the utmost gratitude to you guys and what you do. So
very cool.
Just a big thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and read my question and we'll just get right into it. Does that work?
Yep.
All right, so I got personal trainer certified late last year and have been training clients in a local independent gym since January. My clients and I have seen incredible results, and I'm slowly starting to gain some traction, all by using your programming and wisdom. I personally have lost over 60 pounds since implementing your methods. I attached a photo if you guys can see that. I'm not sure. And in turn, my clients are seeing, just off the top, one guy started with me in March at about 370 pounds. Now he's sitting at 300 pounds and,
wow.
Just killing stuff in powerlifting competitions. It's crazy.
Nice, man. Nice.
Very cool.
So I have a huge passion for this. I'm still working another job outside of personal training. So personal training is kind of a part-time thing right now. But I'm kind of torn between two things. At the moment, I think I may want to go back and finish my degree, exercise science, kind of go the strength and conditioning route. But I also just have this kind of big passion for kind of one-on-one body transformation, sustainable health side of things. So, my main question, is this a good move? Should I focus on personal training? And I know it's kind of hard just to kind of see from the little bit of information I'm giving you, but and if you do suggest the latter, how do I scale personal training as a legit business and kind of setting myself up for legacy and a legitimate business that I can sustain my family's financial health, like down the road, so on and so forth.
Great,
And also,
great question. Great question. So personal training can definitely be a long-term stable career where you could do really well, and it's very, very brings a lot of value to other people and to yourself. As you're experiencing now, it's a really enjoyable thing to do, and it can be a successful career for sure. The problem is there isn't much training and coaching around how to develop a career as a personal trainer. Are you in our course, Devin?
No, I've been doing all the free webinars. It's on the radar. My wife's an accountant, so we got to have everything ducks in a row. And after the holidays, we're going to kind of reassess, and hopefully, I'll be able to do the next enrollment phase.
Well, here's the deal, Devin. And we'll get into the sports and strength and conditioning. There, I said it again, Justin.
Oh, man.
Strength and conditioning degree. We'll ask about that as well. But as far as personal training is concerned, it's much more than just a conversation that you're going to get here on this podcast. And we'll help you as much as we can, but it's an ongoing coaching process. Just like if somebody asked you, hey, can you help me lose weight and get stronger? You'd say, hey, look, I could help you in a 10-minute conversation a little bit, but not much. That's going to require some coaching. Our course is designed in that way. Okay, so there's nothing I'm going to say now that's going to be more effective than the course that we have. And we walk you through every step, whether you work in a big box, private, you want to do online. We'll take you through and really help you develop and build a career around fitness. So that is paramount, okay? So strongly suggest that. By the way, you can make payments on it where you don't have to buy the whole thing up front. You just make payments on it. And dare I say, it's going to be more valuable for personal training than any degree you're going to get. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. Now, in terms of working in strength and conditioning, what were you thinking? Like a coach, like a high school team, something along those lines? Okay.
Something along those lines, right.
Okay. The question I would have for you, and that's definitely a route you could go.
There's not a lot of money in that.
Not much money in that. It's also a bit difficult to get into. But that being said, the only thing I would say is, where do you find more of your enjoyment and your passion? There's pluses and minuses to doing that, right? So working with teams, you get to work with athletes. You're watching them compete. It's a completely different environment than working with everyday people and coaching people one-on-one, right? When you coach people one-on-one, it's a totally different impact. And then the financial aspect, you could do way better as a personal trainer than you would as a strength and conditioning coach. So it's really up to where you find where your heart's pulling you. Because this will be what you do for the rest of your life. Yeah. So that's the real that's the real question.
The financial side of it, it's almost weird to hear. I know, me personally, from hearing you guys, I know kind of sky's the limit whenever it comes to personal training, like finances, personal training. But I think my mind just keeps going back to kind of the stability of the being part of a school program, something like that, having that, baseline pay or something like that. So that part of security is appealing, but at the same time, I see the other side where you guys say, sky's the limit of, personal training. And that's kind of the biggest questions I have of like the scaling aspect. Like I see myself day to day now training the clients that I have and getting great progress, but I'm just kind of lost whenever it comes to that next level, that next step,
Is there a big like sports performance facility in your area that you could possibly do like have a mentorship with one of the coaches and kind of peer in a little bit more to the finances of what they're pulling in? Because I know there's some facilities, that do well. It's not like I mean, Sal's right in terms of like, if I was to purely focus on like a financial gain in this career in this industry, just being a personal trainer, servicing a lot more needs of like, body fat and composition and, everyday average people versus athletes is probably a more sustainable side, but there is options and there's people that have made it work. And I've interviewed a few of them But to kind of get into that world, it definitely takes, a commitment and a time frame of you being able to kind of like, build that network. So you can kind of build a name for yourself and kind of move your way up and maybe even get to the college level and then the pro level. Like Corey Schlesinger is a good example of that as well. But is there any like staple place near you that you can kind of go do some investigation?
Maybe I know there's a few kind of designated strength and conditioning gyms around the area, but I'm sure there would be closer, down toward Atlanta. I'm just about an hour north of Atlanta. So like looking down that way, I'm sure there would be,
I'll be more blunt about this. I think the degree is a terrible idea. Unless you know for sure you're going into a field that is going to require you to have it in order to do it, and then you're fully committed on that's the direction you want to go. Otherwise, the amount of time and money that you'll invest in getting the degree, I could have you with 7 national certifications, interning with somebody who's a great coach or other trainer, and also scaling your personal training business to make more money than you may ever even make as a coach.
Very
anyways.
much.
By the time so let's say it takes you 2 to 4 years to finish that degree, and that amount of time, I've got you making more money already as a trainer and better educated, better certified, and better qualified to be a great trainer in that same amount of time. Less money, more time. The only way it makes sense to me is if you are like dead set, I am going to go and I want to be, a D1 coach, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. And so I know part of the requirement is I'm going to need this degree in order to even get my foot in the door. Then by all means, put your head down, bury it, start working. But that is a long, rough path. It is not easy. It's loaded full of politics and connections and people that don't get paid very well and have to do a lot of fucking work to get recognized. And so, this is what I wanted to do when I first was getting into personal training. I thought that was the direction I wanted also. So this hits home for me. Also, this decision of do I finish my degree or do I go do these national certs and just build my trainer business? If you know the story, I didn't finish my degree and I just started doing national certifications and never looked back. And now I understand the full scope of that side and have several friends that are in that side. And boy, they are very envious of the trainer side, the flexibility, the financial ability on the training one-on-one. More so than I am envious of the long, crazy hours and grunt work they have to do for very little pay just so they can say they're a, sports.
Most people with that degree end up becoming PE teachers. That's just the reality. There's very, very few people that get the glamorous job of being a D1 coach.
And I'll tell you, the D1 coach isn't glamorous.
And it ain't
you talk to our friends that are D1 coaches, and they'll tell you it's fucking a grind.
It's a grind. They don't make much. But there's also the myth of stability. It's more stable if I go get a job at a school. Go be a personal trainer at a big box gym.
Yeah.
Like very stable, easy. Getting clients is easy there. You build a business, you make more money. You actually have more flexibility. You get benefits and the whole thing. So it's a bit of a myth, and it is a long road. You have to go back to school and continue to work while going to school, do the whole thing. So that never appealed to me personally. I've always looked at the stable argument as a myth, and it's true. Look, I've been self-employed, not working in big box gym. I'm talking about own my own business since I was 24. Here I am over 20 years later. I have lots and lots of friends who worked in the corporate world or worked in the whatever with the quote-unquote stable jobs that have gotten fired, laid off, or whatever. Meanwhile, I've been employed the whole time, and I've done well. So it's also a big myth. So you got to ask yourself, like, I understand the kind of the direction, the question, but I'll tell you what, I don't know what your current situation is and what your demands are, but whatever decision you make, go for it 100%. Like if you want to do, if you have the ability, if you have the ability to pursue personal training right now, you're in a situation where like, okay, I could have 4 months of not making tons of money and kind of building this, or 3 months of, building this. Go for it. Go find a big box gym. Go work there. Get our course. Apply what we said. You will do well. Like you will. It's not. It's literally. Now the rare occasions are the people that become general managers, or the people that like crush it. But I have yet to meet a trainer who isn't just lazy, who loves what they do, who can just do well just by following what we say. I mean, we trained coaches for a long time, and it's not, especially in a big box gym.
Yeah, and I think really building your business first is the utmost importance, and then specializing as you go. Like you can still have the passion for it, but just you got to see what kind of demand is there and what you can pull in to keep you afloat. So that was a reality check for me too. Like for training athletes, it's just seasonal, inconsistent, and unless like you really own a facility and you're bringing all the teams to you, it's a really difficult model.
Yep.
Devin, the best advice is just don't half-ass it. Whatever you decide to do, go all in and do it and commit to it. That's going to be so important. And hey, and I don't know how familiar you are with Sal's story and my story, because it was very similar to this when we were in our late teens, early 20s. And what I said to myself was, hey, I'm going to give it 1 year.
Yep.
I'm going to go all in on this idea or plan. And if it doesn't manifest into the vision or what I think it should be or could be, then it's 1 year. It's 1 year of my life. I'll go back to school. I'll go get the degree. I'll go that direction. But I really love this. I really think there's potential. People are telling me I'm good at it. I'm just I need to fully commit myself to it instead of me having my hands in 3 different things and just see where it takes me. And in 1 year's time, I had enough. I was ready to go. It was so, nothing says you can't do that, but whatever you do, fully commit to whatever it is.
Like what Ron Swanson says, right? Never half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing.
That's right. That's right.
Whole-ass it.
That's right.
The whole butt.
Yeah, great. I think as many people do, I knew that's what you were going to say. I think the whole affirmation thing was, I just needed to hear that from you guys. So yeah, that's really great to hear. I appreciate.
Listen, Devin, we just closed enrollment with our new course, which offered a discount, a bunch of free stuff. I'm going to have someone reach out to you and offer, because if you try to get in now, you're going to pay the full price. I'm going to have someone reach out to you and see if they can take care of you.
Incredible. That would be awesome.
All right. We have your email here. If you'd rather they call you, I'll make why don't you let's see, I don't know if Doug, he can message you here.
I'll have Kyle set up if that's his email, I'll have Kyle set up a call.
Done.
So we can talk to him.
Yeah, we'll take care of you. We'll give you the open enrollment rates and all that stuff. So
that would be awesome. Got time for one last thing?
Yes, sir.
Do it.
You guys were talking about Dungeons and Dragons a couple of
yeah, of course.
I was a previous professional dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons, and you guys talk about that. That was pretty cool. Just but yeah, you guys should definitely.
That sounds like a really important role.
Yeah,
it is.
You got to come set us up, man.
I think Justin would like it the most. I really do.
Yeah,
wizards. Yeah. I'm into it. Yeah,
cool.
Let's go.
Well, I appreciate it so much, guys.
Right on,
Thank
Devin.
you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, man. I hope I see him in the course.
Yeah, me too.
I hope he gets in there.
First of all, going back to school, he'll pay way more money than our course. It'll give him way less
application.
When it comes to fitness, I'm going to say this straight up. When it comes to fitness, except for maybe the medical field or where these things are required, which is a small sliver of fitness, like physical therapy.
Chiropractic.
Chiropractic or whatever. Besides those small like slivers, a degree is worthless.
Yeah.
It is worthless. Now, if you need the structured education, you don't mind spending 10 times as much to learn half as much, because that's what happens, then go for it. Otherwise, it is a complete waste of time and money when you could do in 4 years with a degree, you could do with a certification course and then go get experience where you're going to learn everything.
Even strength conditioning, you can just get a CSCS and save yourself a ton of money and still have the accolades that you need to get hired for that.
Well,
and get mentored by somebody.
You have to get a degree for a CSCS. You have to have a degree.
You have to have
you have to have a degree in order to even take CSCS.
That's why I got it.
Yeah. So that's why I don't
what
have
an asshole.
That's why I don't have it.
Well,
but I mean, nonetheless, in that that period of time,
what you could do,
the amount of national certs that he can have
experience
acquired on his own pace and own time, the amount of interning or working underneath, because that's how I would do too. It's like, hey, maybe
100%.
maybe I don't just ditch the whole coaching idea altogether. I still go find a local school, college, volunteer my time.
Dude,
so
you're going to make cool networks of people. You're going to meet a lot of potential clients and their kids and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be valuable regardless, but you're going to get a lot of data to work with in terms of like, is this really the direction for me or not?
Yeah. I assumed when I was younger that those jobs paid really well.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I thought you're working with pro athletes and stuff like that. Like these guys get paid good. It's like not at all. So,
yeah.
I mean, and how long?
And the demand, by the way, there's a line of people willing to do that job for almost nothing.
Yeah, which is why
that's why it goes down.
That's why they give. That's why most people are doing it for free, volunteering their time, just so they can be considered to get paid not so good money. Like as a personal trainer, you'll do way better. So
Next caller is Corinne from New Jersey.
Hi, Corinne. How can we help you?
Hi. How are you guys?
We're good. How are you?
I am super excited. I am such a fan. I'm going to start like everybody else does. I've been listening to you guys for about 2 years now. And honestly, you are my motivation to just live a healthy lifestyle. I brag about you to my family, my friends, my husband. I love you guys. You're awesome.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right.
You're welcome. So like I said in my email, one of the things that I did bring up was anytime I do like a military press, I get like a clicking sound in my shoulder. Since I've emailed you in July, I've worked on that. I have done physical therapy. I've gone to a chiropractor, and I've honestly just been stretching more than I ever have been. And that made a huge difference. So that question kind of solved itself.
Oh, okay.
But my second question has not. In the email, I just said, no matter how active I am, and I don't think I overdo it. I do listen to a lot of what you guys say. No matter how active I am, I feel like I struggle to see, I don't know if this makes sense or like makes me sound vain, but I struggle to see true muscle definition when I'm not lifting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It doesn't make you vain.
Okay. Well, it's funny because I listened to your episode on Thursday about like working out for aesthetics and looks. And I don't think that applies to that because I do generally enjoy working out. Like that's, I revolve my life around that, more for like the mental aspect. But I just feel like when I'm not working out and I put clothes on, I don't see that muscle definition for all the hard work I put in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fair question.
To be clear, you look very healthy. You probably are pretty healthy, but what you're asking is to get a little leaner. That's what you're asking, basically. Do you know where your body fat percentage is sitting?
No, I've never done anything before like that. Honestly, I can be an obsessive person, so I stopped tracking macros. I do have like a loose count on how much protein I intake, and it's about anywhere from 115 to 120 grams a day.
Okay.
I weigh 125 pounds, so I'm almost hitting that mark.
That's good.
But other than that, I don't really track anything else because I become very obsessed with it.
How tall are you?
5 foot.
Okay. You're probably sitting in the low 20s for your height, weight, and that your strength training, you're hitting your protein, which is good. Let me ask you this, Corinne, because this might help. Would your husband say you look really good and fit?
Yes, he definitely does because I constantly ask.
Okay. So you probably look like you work out, okay? But here's the deal. I'll answer your question about getting leaner. That just means you're going to have to eat a little less than what you're burning. So now definition in women typically shows up around 20%, maybe below 20%. That's where you start to see the lines. Okay. In the shoulders, you know, around 18%, 17%, you might just start to see some obliques and a little bit of outline there, lower back definition. Most women are happy in the low 20s, between 20 to 23, 24% with muscle underneath. Most women are happy around there, but definition starts to happen when you get in the low, like I said, around 20% or a little bit below that. It does require for most women, it does, not all, but most women, it requires to be a little bit more meticulous with diet. Because when you're fit and healthy, Most women's body fat percentage will sit right around, like I said, in the low 20s. That's just typically where most women will sit. And there's a range, there's a genetic range there, but that's most women where they're going to kind of be, okay? But to see definition, it requires a little bit more meticulous. You just have to get a little bit more granular, that's all. And so we'd have to reduce your caloric intake.
Okay, so it's more within like my diet than my actual like strength training and workouts that I'm doing.
Probably. Are you following one of our programs?
Looks like it said split, right now, currently.
So at the moment, I'm not following your program. So I have in the past, I've done anabolic, I've done the butt mod, which I love, by the way. Yeah. And I've done the split program and I love them. It's just at the moment, I'm not following anything. I'm a teacher. Miserable teacher, but hoping to get out of the profession. And it's just with school starting, I just kind of lost my motivation. I am working out frequently. It's just hit or miss with what I'm doing. I'm lifting, but they're like 20, 30 minute lifts, maybe a run.
Yeah, we're going to send you Mass 15. It sounds like your schedule and everything going on right now, this would be a good fit for you.
Yeah,
do the advanced version of it. You'll love it right now, especially while you're teaching.
So I looked at MAPS 15 and I couldn't bring myself to buy it because I'm so meticulous that I felt like 15 minutes just wouldn't be enough.
But
I trust you.
This is why you need to do it.
The advanced version is more like 20 to 25 minutes and it will be enough.
You'll see yourself getting stronger for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. I can obviously do that at home.
If you can, do you have weights at home?
I have a squat rack. I have barbell, dumbbells.
Oh my God.
You're good.
It's 4 days in a row too.
You're going to love it.
Yeah, you have plenty for that.
You'll love it. It's about 20, 25 minutes a day with the barbell version. You'll love it. You'll get great results.
Okay.
Yeah.
Corinne, are you
okay? All right.
Are you watching the series that I'm doing on Mind Pump TV by chance?
No, I am not. That's another thing too that I struggle with. I don't have any social media. I deleted social media about 2.5 years ago. So I really just listen to your podcast and that's about it. I don't, is that on YouTube or what?
Yeah,
what is that on?
It's on YouTube. It's under Mind Pump TV.
Okay.
And I've been documenting my process of coming back and getting in better shape. So building muscle, losing body fat. I just think the stuff that I communicate around nutrition and leaning out and seeing definition, I talk about a lot of that in this whole process. And even myself, I get to a point where if I want to keep seeing more definition, that I have to be more diligent about how I track, or I accept like this is kind of where I can be. I can be healthy and fit, and it's healthy. It looks good, but I want more. And if I want more, this is just and so I think the way I communicate it in the series will be helpful for what you're trying to kind of figure out and solve. I think we all agree that you're already a healthy, fit person, but you kind of wanting the next level of definition and aesthetics and kind of what that transition looks like. You kind of watch me go through that. And so probably be pretty valuable.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wrote that down. I'm definitely going to watch that. Yeah. And it's like a little extra into the question. Do you have time? Can I ask it?
Yeah, go for it.
As I feel like Sal, I can relate to you on a lot of things. So getting into the holiday season, I just get super frustrated because my husband and I are relatively very healthy people. And our family, I come from a huge Italian family. Like my dad is from Sicily. My mom's family is from Naples. They revolve everything around food and they are super judgmental anytime I decline something or if I say I have to get a workout in, or just with the holidays coming up, I have so much anxiety around it. And I feel like you might be able to relate to that to help me navigate through that and really focus on my health and fitness without their words getting in my head.
Yeah, well, there's two things. One is I just do what I'm going to do so they can say whatever they want. And I'll just do it. But the second thing too is, the realization that, and this took me a long time to realize.
And I have a daughter too. So I don't want her to have any negative associations around food.
That's going to be tough coming from our culture, right? Because it's so you better eat this, you better finish that and eat this. And so that's kind of tough. But, there's two things. One, if I'm going to do something, I'll just do it, and they'll get, they'll say whatever, and I'll be like, oh, come on, I love you, whatever, and I'll just do it and don't let it bother me. The second thing is the realization that the holidays, the value with the holidays is really, it is about family. And part of it is about food. Now, it's not always about food. Like every time I go to my parents' house or every time they come over. But when I go there for, Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, I go there and my mind, my focus is on my family. And so I'm just going to be there for that. And that's a very healthy thing. But otherwise, everything else.
I guess with the most is like my mom or like my cousins would be like, hey, I just made this recipe that I want to do for Christmas Eve. Do you want to try it? Like, I'm going to drop it off at your house. And I'm like, no, I really don't want to eat cinnamon buns for no reason. If I don't, like it's not a holiday right now. It's just, they're just so obnoxious and overwhelming.
I mean, take a bite of it and then give it to your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So that way you can say, oh, it was amazing. I tasted it. It's gone. Already gone.
You know what? There's only one thing I've ever seen I've used in my entire life that has made a family member stop pursuing me with food. And that is to tell them that my stomach hurts. Like, oh no, I can't. I have a bad, my stomach hurts. Yeah. And then they'll leave me alone. You know what I mean? That's the only thing. But I mean, it's just the way it is. That's our culture. Okay. And I get it. Yeah. Like my mom the other day, she came over and on her way, before they left, they said, hey, we have some persimmons. Can we bring you some? I said, yeah, Mom, bring me 2. We only want 2. Of course, she came with a bag of like 15 persimmons. I'm like, we're never going to eat all these. Right. Oh, don't worry about it. Maybe you'll want some. I'm like, why do you do this every time? I don't get it.
Right. Well, that's like my mom invites us over. We're very close. She invites us over weekly. And obviously, like my daughter's almost 5. I want her to see my family. But she's like, oh, I'm making lasagna. We're having pasta, I'm making chicken parm. And like, they always just rag on me for bringing my own food there, which I do. I'll bring like grilled chicken for the chicken parm, or I'll bring like an alternative for the pasta. And it's not that I don't eat those things, but I'll eat them when I want them. I don't want them every week. Yeah,
no, I get it. I understand. It's just, you just accept it because there's a lot of good things that come from our culture and our family as well. And so it's like a big package. But, when my mom does that or my dad does that, and they say, why'd you bring your own food? I always give them a kiss. Mom, I love you. You're always trying to feed me. And that seems to smooth it out a little bit, but I get it. Yeah. It's not going to change. It will never change. No. You can't change them. So yeah, I just got to accept it.
It's not. And my husband is like the most laid back person. So he definitely like grounds me with that. But yeah, that's just something I struggle with because fitness and my health has always been a priority. I mean, I was a gymnast in my younger years for like 14 years. So I've always been active. And I feel like it's just more important the older I get to keep at it. And I do feel like that the family can be judgmental with that.
Yeah, I get that. By the way, being a gymnast, your height, your weight, I bet you look like you really do work out. You might be a little hard on yourself. You're probably really strong.
I'm hard on myself because I do have a hard time comparing myself to other women that are...
Big mistake.
I've always been stocky. I've always been short. I've always had muscle, and I've always just looked stocky. I'm not skinny. I'll never be skinny, nor do I want to be.
You probably have a really round butt. You probably have great curves. I bet your husband loves it.
I just have big legs.
Yeah, that probably looks good.
I want to lean them out.
Yeah, comparing yourself to other women it will never, ever work. I don't care how lean you get. It will never work. That's the thing.
And that was part of the reasons for deleting social media is that there was just so much information out there and so many different fitness people and this and that. I just got really overwhelmed and it wasn't great for like my mental health. So I just, took a break.
Yeah, good. You did the right thing. We'll send you Mass 15, okay?
And watch the series. I think you'll.
I am. I'm actually very excited about your series, Adam. That sounds like something that I can relate to.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Yeah, good. Follow Mass 15. You'll like it.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm really excited about that because right now I've just been like kind of piecing together things to get myself moving, but I can't be down there for like hours.
Yeah, no. You'll like the program. It'll really you'll get great results. Yeah.
And how many days a week is that?
Is it 5 or 6?
6.
6 days a week, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Very frequent, so that's why you'll like it.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it.
All right, Corinne.
Thank you. All right, good stuff. The family stuff, I mean, you're not going to change them.
Yeah.
I just feel you have to stand your ground.
You do, but here's the thing: you stand your ground. That doesn't mean they're going to stop pestering you.
Yeah.
So you just you laugh it. You laugh it off. You accept it.
Shrug it off.
Dude. And it's just that's it. And it's the way it is. And eventually they stop. If you get all like butt hurt about it and you get like defensive, it actually fuels it. But if you laugh it off, you give them a hug, you give them a kiss, come on, you know how I like, then they kind of leave you, eventually they start to kind of get it, you know?
I mean, we don't come from an Italian family, but I had a lot of resistance with Katrina's family.
Well, her family's similar. You guys are similar.
And so that was a challenge. I mean, and we got together when I was in the thick of competing. So I
which is
literally
like super.
Yeah. So I mean, I think half the family hated me because I come over and it was like so disrespectful that I was eating out of this Tupperware when they're all eating this big family meal.
Right when you start dating, too.
But I tell you though, like years later, obviously not right away, years later, they all like super appreciate. Now they all come to me and ask about eating and making choices. They always, when they make dinner now, a lot of times they make things that they're like, hey, we made this because we know you'll be able to eat this or you like this. Like, so I don't know. I think that, certain parts of them, they'll never change certain things, but they've learned to appreciate that and the way
your
I've done
influence can impact them.
Yeah. And really the challenge, and I've had this conversation many times, and it gets better, but it's still like the way that my family shows love many times, especially the women, is by feeding you. And so when you say no, it would be like if I came up to you, Justin, to give you a hug and you pushed me away. I'd be like, what do you mean you don't want a hug? Like, why don't you want my love? That's how they interpret it. So that's why when they would do that and I would say no, I would give them a hug or a kiss because I realized they were just trying to show me love.
All right, dude.
They felt
I'll
rejected.
accept your hug next time. Jeez.
You like that?
Yeah.
By the way, we are running a sale this month on some workout programs. MAPS Aesthetic and MAPS Symmetry, both very popular programs, both 50% off. If you're interested, go to mapsfitnessproducts.com, but use the code December50 for the discount. All right, here comes the show.
Our next caller is Ryan from California.
What's up, Ryan?
What you doing, Ryan?
What's happening, dude?
Calgary. I'm all the way up north in Canada.
Okay, CA means California in this country, but I got to tell our assistant to put Calgary next time.
So what's happening, man?
All good. I'm good. I'm doing good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate being here.
Thank you.
What you got for us?
Awesome. So I'll try to make this concise. So like, long story short, I used to be a real heavy cat, got up to about 275 pounds in my early teens, lost a bunch of weight along the way, different fitness, different exercises, the whole thing. About 2 or 3 years ago, I got, life, family, kids, business, gained a whole bunch back, decided I wanted to get fixed up again. So joined a local club here, started doing workouts, and then I did the ill-fated weight loss competitions and was able to cut down weight over the course of about 2 years. In the meantime, though, probably not doing it correctly, and I ended up late last year in January, February, probably crashing out really hard. So I got down to 155. But ever since then, I've kind of been a mess. I'm constantly tired, super fatigued, just a loss of energy. So I train for triathlon. I do weight training 3 times a week. So I do a lot, but it definitely wasn't feeling great. I was feeling exhausted and just generally in life, just, kind of really being down. When got tested in May, because I thought maybe it was my testosterone. I'm still pretty young, but I thought it was maybe my testosterone was having an issue. I have it in my family. And the results came out good. So they didn't qualify for me for that. And at the time they suggested it, we're not going to be able to do that for you, but you could look at HCG as an option to see if, we can bump those levels up for you. And I did some research into HCG and I really couldn't find anything that was overly relevant to help me out or to be useful in that. And I just wanted to see if you guys had any feedback on that or some things that I can improve.
If your testosterone feels low or you have symptoms of low testosterone and you're overtraining the hell out of yourself, which is what it sounds like.
Overtraining sounds to be
testosterone isn't the issue. That's just the symptom.
Yep.
So are you still training for an Ironman plus strength training 3 days a week?
Yeah, like I'm on a pretty heavy schedule for Ironman. I'm looking to do either Texas or Lake Placid. So yeah, I'm doing a lot. Like I'm 15 hours a week.
And you feel like shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think's
But
happening?
I don't know if that's just the hustle on it. I'm not sure.
No.
You're overdoing it.
Yeah.
You can't handle it. Your body isn't able to handle it at the
15
moment.
hours of work, dude. 15 hours.
Yeah,
as well.
dude. You got to
and you run a business too.
You
or
got to back
businesses or
way
something.
off, dude.
Yeah.
All the symptoms that you have, fatigue, low libido, you're not feeling good. You probably have insomnia or crushing fatigue, or both. Probably hot cold intolerance.
Cravings.
Your performance is probably not doing great. You're overtrained to shit.
Yeah.
And here's what's going to happen
Yeah.
if you keep going down that path. You're going to get sick and injured is what's going to happen. So you need to back way off. So I don't know what you signed up for, but I would back way off. Maybe keep the date. Give yourself a week off completely. Get back into it at 1/3 the volume. See how you feel. But you're just overtrained, man.
Can I ask what draws you to the ultra marathon running? That's a very unique sport to get into. What's the draw to that?
I mean, it's all mental for me for sure. I mean, I kind of grew up with a lot of like thinking, I was a heavier dude for most of my life. So I just kind of grew up with limitations in my head. And so I'm just constantly chasing the edge
Have you done
of, what I'm possible, what I can do.
Have you done an Ironman before, or is this your first one?
Yeah, I actually completed Penticton in August. And then I tried my first 100 miler a couple weeks later. Unfortunately, DNF'd due to heat, but, got up to about 70 miles.
Wait. You did an Ironman in August, then you did a 100 miler, and then when's this Ironman that you're going to try and do?
The next one would be April, but I'm leaning towards Placid, which is in July of this year or next year.
Yeah,
sorry.
dude, take some time off, bro. You're overtrained to shit. Yeah. By the way, HCG, I'll just answer that question. HCG will raise your testosterone temporarily when you're on it. When you go off, it'll go back down to where it was. It's really more for fertility for men than anything, improving sperm count.
Yeah.
But even if you went on testosterone, here's what will happen. Even if you went on testosterone right now and brought your testosterone up to high normal, you would notice a little benefit, but you'd still feel like shit because you're so overtrained.
Yeah. It would just mask it.
It wouldn't even mask it that much. It would mask it a little bit. But you're so overtrained based off what you're telling me. 15 hours a week of training. How long have you been training like this? Did you stop at all after your last ultra run?
Yeah, I took like a 2-week break.
Yeah, you're fucked, bro. You're so overtrained right now. You're so overtrained, it's not even funny.
Bro, I wish I
If
could.
you've ever recovered from that. one.
The reason why I asked like this whole ultra marathon, because a guy with your discipline, boy, I would love just to get a hold of your metabolism and put some calories in you and lift some weights to build. Because right now you're not doing like you lifting weights 3 days a week on top of all this running.
No, it ain't doing nothing.
It's just doing nothing for you. It's just more overtraining. Like you're not. You could take off all the weight training and not see or notice a
probably
difference.
feel better.
You'll feel better. Is what will happen
right now. Yeah.
because your body is so overtrained.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, and I think that's partially the issue too, because I can't drop weight and I can't get anything lower on my gut either. I still have that little paunch in there.
We need to build.
Yeah, you
Bro,
gotta,
you're-
you gotta get some muscle
We
on
need to
you.
build some muscle right now.
If you're okay with like changing direction, if this is an option, Ryan, here's what I think you should do. I think you should stop all the stuff you're doing right now. Go hire yourself a strength specific personal trainer, like somebody who's good, not someone's going to beat you up. Start strength training with a trainer about 3 days a week, and that's it. And then hit your protein targets and watch your body transform.
Yeah.
Watch it transform.
Resurrect it.
I
Now,
mean, a guy like you with your competitive attitude and edge would do really well actually signing up for a powerlifting meet and hiring a powerlifting coach to actually take him through that process.
You could do it that way, but I'm just saying, like,
Just all strength focused.
your body would change so radically with so much less effort. Like you'll blow yourself away. Right now, what your body right now is in survival mode. You're barely functioning because your body is maintaining its bare minimum functions. That's why your libido's gone. That's why your energy's gone. That's why you probably sleep like shit. All that stuff. And why your body is holding on for dear life for whatever little body fat you have, because your body is in survival mode because you've beat the crap out of yourself.
And just to not to just continue to hammer you here, but Bro, and you're young.
I'm good.
And you're a young guy. So for you to be feeling symptoms like this at a young age means you are really hammering
you're
yourself.
redlining it.
Because we are resilient, man. When you're under the age 30 and stuff like that, you're resilient as
He's
shit.
in his late 30s.
Oh, are you 30s?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were in
38.
Oh,
38.
okay.
you're
It's-
old,
I thought,
dude.
yeah, I thought you were. I thought you're old. You're not old, but you're definitely been hammering yourself for a long time, and your body's screaming at you right now to get to recover. And if you want to get rid of that pooch or belly fat that is still that stubborn fat, you need a reverse diet, build muscle, and then come back down again after that, and it'll go away.
If you went and worked with a good trainer 3 days a week, strength training, started hitting your protein targets, slowly reverse diet, you would see a radical transformation in your body, and you would feel so different. By the way, if you take my advice, I'm going to give you another warning. You'll do it. You'll start to feel so good that you'll think about beating the shit out of yourself again. Don't do it. Just stay the course. Don't keep adding. Just stay the course and watch what happens. It'll free you up, by the way. 15 hours a week for feeling like shit. Like there's so many other things you'd be doing
You
with
can
that
go build
time.
another business, bro. We'll give you enough time to go build another business and get jacked. Yeah, a lot of potential here, though, dude. I know the effort that it takes to train for Ironman and Ultra. Like, you got some serious discipline and grit in you. If you could just shift that focus.
Yeah, you've proven that. Now let's just focus on strength.
Yeah, you focus on getting strong and taking care of yourself, and you're going to see incredible results if you're open to it. You got to be open to it, though.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest issue is patience, right? So obviously, like if I'm not going hard, I'm not patient on it. But I hear you.
Well, I mean, look, you like going hard and getting no results?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, dude. So it's not patience at this
You're
point.
right.
Misplaced energy.
There's another word for it. It's not patience. If you want results, stop doing what you're doing. If I'm telling you right now, if you stay on this path and don't stop, you're going to feel worse than you do now, and or something bad's going to happen injury-wise or something like that. It's just inevitable. So back way the hell off. Focus on strength. If you don't mind dropping the Ironman, and then watch what happens to your body. Within 2 months, you'll be blown away. Within 2 months.
I would love to put you in our private forum, give you MAPS Powerlift, and send you on your way and keep in touch with us. That's what I'd like to do. And
I'm 100% down because what I've been doing ain't working. So
okay.
Yeah, cool.
gotta try something.
All right. Well,
All
then
right,
we're gonna send over Powerlift. I'm gonna get Doug to put you in the free forum, and then I'd love for you to check in with us on a monthly basis. Just let us know how you're feeling, and good, bad, indifferent doesn't matter. I want to hear from you. Just hearing what's going on, because what I'm most concerned about is what Sal was already alluding to, is like you getting in your own way. Probably doing really good in 30, 60 days and thinking you need to do more or hammer yourself harder, and I want to make sure that I stay on top of you, of stay focused, do what we're telling you, and I promise you're going to be all right. So check in with us on a monthly basis and let us know what's going on, Ryan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm down for that, and I really appreciate that's honestly probably what's been sitting in the front of my head anyway. It's just
awesome
being real about it.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
There you go.
Cool. I'm excited for you, dude.
Yeah, so am I, bro.
Serious potential right here. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you, guys.
You got it, man.
All right, Ryan.
Thank you.
See you in the forum.
He'll gain 15 pounds of muscle so fast,
Bro.
just from doing this.
Bro.
I mean,
Slows
I'm
down.
not exaggerating.
And
No.
strength trains.
By the way, I've trained
Yeah,
several Ironman competitors, and I'll never forget the first one that I trained. I took them on as a client, and I started strength training with them twice a week. And I remember twice a week and trying to be smart about everything, and they weren't progressing, and they were complaining about aches and pains and doing. I was like, what is going on? I backed way off to 1 day a week, 2 exercises, and then we saw them progress. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to put him on MAPS 15. I'm just afraid
That's
that
too little.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the
Double,
reason why I
triple
went
it up.
Powerlift for the audience, so they know like why there, because I do think MAPS 15 is more ideal.
It's just
for him.
more direct, just like a direction.
Yes,
powerlifting.
exactly. He'll have a goal.
Yep.
It'll be like trying to get stronger. I'll let him take his little obsessive personality and apply it in a healthier way, and then I'll get him to go MAPS
This is-
15.
and he won't get stronger if he overdoes it.
Right.
And that's
Spoken-
what he's going to see in the program.
Spoken like an experienced personal trainer. This is what you have to judge, and you have to really contemplate as a coach or a trainer, is what is the best answer, and what factors in there is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So Powerlift is probably not the perfect program, but he ain't going to follow the other ones.
That's
so
right.
therefore it makes it the best.
Yeah,
one.
if he paid me 6 months in advance and he's now locked in with me, I'm making
Then
him
it's
do max
different.
max 15 and I'm running the show.
Sure.
But I don't got that kind of power and control over this guy, and knowing from my experience that type of personality,
Totally.
you take them from running 15 hours a week to all of a sudden,
To a
hey,
20-minute workout.
two exercises, you're done.
Yeah.
He'll fucking go insane,
He'll
or
lose
he'll
his
do
mind.
it for 2 weeks, but this isn't working and I'm
Yeah,
out. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So this is my, hopefully get him moving in that direction.
Our next caller is Nicole from California.
Hi, Nicole. How can we help you?
Good morning.
Okay, so I'm going to get right into it. I have kind of a long backstory, but I'm just going to give you a brief. 2 years ago, I started MAPS Anabolic for the first time, coming off of like a really restrictive diet and a lot of cardio. And I actually was on your show like a month or two after I started Anabolic. And you guys had told me to do a reverse diet and focus on getting stronger, because I was sort of uncomfortable with my growing upper body size because my shirts were all getting tight. So I tried to do that, and I wasn't successful at not putting on weight. I actually gained like about 8 pounds, but I got my calories up from probably like an 18 or 1900 calorie maintenance to like 2400. And I was just getting more uncomfortable with my goal getting further away from me as far as my body size and dress size going up. So I've tried to do cuts, and it doesn't really ever work out for me, because when I focus on counting calories or weighing food or any kind of mindset of restriction, I tend to do what I call like a reactionary eat. It's not like binging or anything, but I just rebel about it, you know. So I kind of panicked this summer, and I thought, well, maybe because my weight just kept going up, I should drop a day of weight training and start to do more cardio to try to shed some fat. So that was my question that got called for today, but I have a follow-up question that I think is a little more relevant if we have time.
Okay.
Let's first address the first mistake that you made early on, was thinking that the 8 pounds and going from 1,800 to 26 or 2,400 calories was not a huge success. That's a massive success. First of all, 2 or 3 pounds of that is mostly water, just because you're increasing your calories by that much. Carbohydrates, sodium naturally goes up. You're going to hold more water. You're automatically going to see the scale go a couple of pounds up just from water retention, period. Okay. Then you probably built some muscle, and we're on the road of building a incredible fast metabolism. So you thinking that wasn't good is the direction we probably needed to keep going. And getting to a place where maybe you're at 2,800, 3,000 calories. Is this it right here, Doug?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
You did great.
Yeah.
You did build some. How much stronger were you during the reverse diet, by the way?
So when I started lifting weights, I probably was squatting like around 85 pounds. And I think the highest squat I've gotten is like 135 for multiple reps. And I can box squat like 160. And then bench press, like my highest that I can bench is about 95 to 100 pounds for like a single or double rep.
She looks phenomenal.
Yeah. Now
You look phenomenal.
Let me ask you this:
with
you went from a 65 or 85 pound squat to one something within the reverse diet period?
Yeah, but then I didn't really get any higher. And when I was on my original call, I think Adam had said he would push me like in 6 months to get up to like 185. I've never gotten to that number on my own.
No, okay, but so wait, hold on. So you started with what squat, and you ended up where again?
Probably like 85 when I first started using a bar. And then I can do like 135 for probably like 8 reps at least.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
No, you're doing phenomenal.
You're doing really good. You know what?
You just need to be in your ear constantly telling
Yeah.
you you're doing a good job. You're heading the right way.
It's
Stay the
so
course.
mental. It is so mental, this entire process. You might have gone up a tiny bit. I think you might have gone up a tiny bit body fat at most, but you definitely.
I think it was like 1%. I had a trainer use calipers.
Yeah,
you went like a year apart.
1%. That's within the margin of error too.
Yeah.
You look like you gain mostly muscle, so you're definitely moving in the right direction. And yes, you will feel bigger because you built some more muscle.
I am. Yeah. My diameter measurements are all much bigger than I'm used to being.
Yeah.
And my weight on the scale is a lot higher than what I would consider like a comfortable level for me.
Yeah. It's a tough building muscle, especially for women, can be such a
Very psychological game.
Very, very difficult. But you went up from 1,800 to 2,400 calories. built essentially all muscle, got a lot stronger, metabolism moving totally in the right direction. And if I recall when we were on the phone, I know you wanted to build your legs, which it looks like you did. And I remember, talking about getting leaner, going down from 1,800 calories, you don't have much room. But at 2,400 calories, you had some more room to go. But I still wouldn't cut so quickly. I would wait and let everything solidify a little bit before cutting, because otherwise your body will adapt again very quickly. At doing more cardio, less strength training, you'll burn more calories initially, but then the body adapts very quickly to that.
Nicole, I think it's important you hear this also. I seen 3 pictures that were sent over. I don't know if you sent any more or not, but I've seen 3 pictures. I see looks like an older modeling picture of you when you were really lean, and then I see the before, the bulk, and then the bulk. You look the best at your heaviest, just so you know. Okay.
At 155?
Yes.
That was the heaviest. Yeah. And right now I'm like 151.
Okay.
And I don't change my shape that much. You can just see a little more definition when I drop down to the 140 was when I was doing a cut at 1,800 calories, but it wasn't sustainable for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I would keep moving you up.
Yeah.
So the goal would have been the original goal I told you, keep pushing that direction to where we get your calories so high that when you come down to say 2,400 calories, is probably a more sustainable, nice, flexibility in your diet. You enjoy that. You can be lean. We just got to keep reverse dieting it. But I mean, even at the 153, I can still see your abs.
Yeah.
Like you look.
Yeah, that's my leaner area. I definitely carry it on my butt thigh area.
Even your thighs and your butt, they got muscle shape. They don't look like you got a bunch of fat. It looks like you put on muscle.
It's a tough mental game. It
Really
really
I think you can see I'm coming from like a pretty small frame.
Yes.
How tall are you?
5'5".
Yeah, you're at a good place. I mean, keep moving in that direction, and you probably need to get rid of your scale. What did you
I stopped weighing myself regularly. Good. That's been really helpful. I don't track my food at all because that has not been good for me.
Good.
I just eat like you guys tell everybody to, and I'm very good with protein. I cook all my meals from scratch. I love to cook. I eat,
Yeah, I think you're doing so good.
Yeah,
I think
I don't see any flaws here.
Yeah, I love the programming. I actually tried cardio a couple times. I hate it now, so I just do. I just do 3 1-hour training sessions a week, and I love them. But my big hurdle that I'd love to bring up, if you guys have time, has been my sleep. So for the last 4 years, I really haven't been able to sleep past 2 a.m. And I don't really know what changed. I'm 42. I had a baby 4 years ago too, my second. So I thought maybe it was that whole just coming out of being a mom and then waking in the middle of the night. But she sleeps fine now, and I still wake up every night at 2 a.m. And I've tried every supplement that you guys have recommended, every night routine that you guys have recommended. And now I've started to dive a little bit more into taking things. Like I won't take an Advil if I have a headache. I am a very natural person. But in July, I ended up going to a naturopath, having all my hormones checked. And they had recommended taking progesterone to help me with sleep.
Yep.
And I also got on some testosterone cream because it was like my testosterone was sort of on the low side, but everything was in normal range. And none of that helped me at all. I took it for 3 months and I've taken melatonins and anything else you can do that's natural. And most recently in the last month, I started taking THC gummies, which I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I'm a very straight edge person. And it's the only thing that's actually helped me sleep through the night. And I think my tolerance has started to increase. So I've had to double the dose to once I wake up, I can go back to sleep. It keeps me drowsy enough. And I've gotten about a month of the best rest I've had in 4 years. And I'm wondering, has that been the major hurdle that I've
Could be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if you've been struggling with sleep, that'll affect everything. I would go back to the naturopath and look at progesterone still. I've worked with lots of female clients especially in the age range between 38 and 45, and they found the right dose of progesterone, and it really did help make a difference with sleep.
Do you follow our friend Dr. Lauren Fitz?
No,
okay.
No. I took the Cabral test that you guys came out with a month ago on your podcast. The sleep. It was like the evening cortisol one.
Yeah. How was your cortisol?
It was right at the border of normal and high.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, take a look. Look up Dr. Lauren Fitz on Instagram. She's got a lot of really good content speaking to this, and I would love for you to get with her. If
Do you
possible.
try to eat?
I'll message her for sure.
Have you tried? So this actually makes a big difference for some people. Is eating carbohydrates before bed or at night with their last dinner, but their last meal.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have like potato or rice or whatever for my dinner, but I eat really early, like 4:35 p.m. because I've got little kids, and then I'll sometimes have a little snack, but it's usually like a Adam's yogurt bowl dessert kind of thing.
Okay.
And I assume you've already done like magnesium and stuff like that. You've already gone down.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of it. I've done all of it.
I figured that.
Like every adaptogen you can imagine. And I hate to take like considered a drug, THC, but it's really the only thing that's helped. And I don't know if that long term is actually like real sleep. Is it going to be beneficial if I can fall back?
Well, you're not comparing it to good sleep. You're comparing it to 5 to 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Right.
So in the context of I sleep 5 to 6 hours,
it's an upgrade compared to that.
or I sleep 8 hours, but I'm taking THC, it's better. Okay. It's not better than sleeping 8 hours without it, but you couldn't do that before anyway. So I wouldn't worry about that. But again, I would go back to the naturopath and look at working with the hormones again. I've had a lot of success with clients on using, in particular, progesterone, especially women in your age group.
And also, somebody who is trying to balance all this stuff out hormonally and is not getting the most optimal sleep and has the results that you have really speaks volumes about your discipline around diet and exercise.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know that. Like, it's important that you understand that what you're doing in the lifting and diet world, I think, is perfect. And I think the results show that. And I think that getting this figured out, getting the hormone and sleep thing, it may be the thing that unlocks the next level of seeing results. But you've been able to get those kind of results while also trying to figure your sleep out after having 2 kids and being in your 40s. You're kicking ass. Just you need to make sure you know that, because you're pulling a lot of the right levers already. We just got to really solve this sleep issue and get to the bottom of that, because that might unlock another level for us.
Yeah, which is what I've been trying for 2 years. But I feel like in the last month, the only thing that has helped those gummies. And I feel like I'm in a really good place, like I said, with my training and my food. So that was where I wanted to talk to you guys about what is that last little piece that'll get me just feeling a little more comfortable in my skin.
Yeah, I get that.
I think the reaching out to Dr. Lauren, I'd love for you to get with her and dive more into the hormone side, because that's above my pay grade, and she's far better at that than any of us are. And I think she's going to be able to help you. And then the advice, I'm going to stick with the original advice with you, is you keep going in that reverse diet direction and building muscle. And the goal is ultimately just to keep getting the calories up so you can come back down. It's not a place you're going to live at forever. Yep. So I don't want you to eat. You don't have to eat 2,900, 3,000 calories and be 165, 170 forever. But you're heading in the right direction based off of what I've seen already. Like, you're putting good muscle on. Even if you put a little bit of body fat along the way, just remember, it's not the end goal. It's just to get your metabolism up, and then we can come back down the other way. And then I think you'll be happier with what you see when you lean out from speeding the metabolism up. 1,800 calories is just not sustainable for you right now, and we got to keep reverse dieting. That's the only thing I would do right now as far as diet and exercise wise. And then the next thing would be diving deeper into the hormonal stuff.
Okay, I hear you for sure on the hormonal stuff. As far as the reverse diet, I don't know how comfortable I am pushing my calories back up right now, but I see what you mean. Like, I can't sustainably cut from here. I'm probably around 2,000 calories now at maintaining this weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your steps? How many steps do you take a day? Are you pretty active?
Yeah, like 12,000 to 15,000.
Yeah. You gotta get your
You know what?
calories
You're doing everything right. I think that the sleep is going to make a big difference if it hasn't already.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been a month. I don't really know how quickly that will help out after being sleep deprived for 4 years.
Oh, it's gonna take 6 months probably to start to get all that back. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully I can keep that up somehow, and then I'll check back in with taking maybe a bigger dose of progesterone or something. We'll just see what they say.
Yeah, that's why I want you to talk to Lauren. She's really like honed in on like the ratio and balance of all those, and I know that a lot of the stuff I've heard her talk about is outside of what the general practitioner would talk about, the ranges, and she's found sweeter spots for women. I mean, she specializes is in women your age that are trying to solve this. So
okay, that'd be helpful. I'll look into her. The naturopath actually that I went to, I didn't really love, because she wanted me to take the 2 different hormones. And then she also recommended I get on a GLP-1 to lose like 8 pounds. And I just didn't really trust.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
see.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
You're not a
For
GLP.
herself, she was a really very thin woman who runs, and she said that she takes it just to keep that extra 5 pounds for menopause off. And I just didn't understand why you go that drastic.
Yeah.
Suspect.
I don't think you're a good candidate for GLP-1.
No.
That's not what we're, you don't.
Yeah, I don't even like taking an Advil, so it's not my lifestyle
Good.
choice.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let us know what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
Nicole.
The sleep, that's a tough one.
I
That
mean,
is a tough one. You know, a lot
outside of that, she's doing really, really well.
everything
you
else
know,
seems to be on
by the
track.
way, you know, women late 30s, early 40s, it's not uncommon to see these issues with sleep and then not be able to figure out what the hell's going on. And the hormone stuff, in my experience,
That's a big role.
has been the biggest game changer for a lot of women. So
Yeah, I know. There's also she's got a couple things too, that the image of I don't know how old she was in the modeling picture like that, but that's not even a healthy version of herself.
Right.
And so first of all, you have to get rid of that idea that's not even a good goal to even want to look remotely anything like that. The way she looks right now, she's in a very, very healthy, good position. But I get what it's like to feel not comfortable in that and wanting to be a certain size. But the answer still is the reverse diet and get the calories up so that when she comes down to 2,000 calories, she can be leaner and still eating more.
that's right. Look, if you like the show, come find us on Instagram. Justin is at Mind Pump Justin. I'm at Mind Pump DeStefano, and Adam is at Mind Pump Adam. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. 30% body fat. For men, this is way too high. This is actually a bit high for women as well. So in today's episode, we're talking about how you can go from 30 to 10. What is 10% body fat? This is when you have a visible six-pack. Can you go from 30 to 10%? Yes, it's possible, but not if you guess along the way. So we're going to talk about how you can do that in today's episode.
Now, there's a huge range, right, of like body types.
Yes.
Some people can run a little bit heavier or a little bit higher body.